Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back.
Good Thursday morning, a wet, rainy morning out here in Los Angeles. Chandler almost didn't make it in.
Look,
Can I quote the text?
5 seconds in.
It's raining. Can we Zoom?
Yeah, I mean, it's raining cats and dogs out there.
You're so LA.
I almost pulled a DeAndre Ayton. I almost got
river.
I almost got stormed in.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
But I'm here.
We're
We made
here.
it. I got a prop today.
We're pros. Chandler Parsons. Lou will also have a prop. Shams joining us, surrounded by I have nothing. This seems a little bit weird. We have a lot of basketball to talk. Shams, it's probably best you're not here today. It's a little weird in studio. The vibes are off.
It's our Friday.
We haven't
our
spoken about
Friday.
basketball
It's our
once.
Friday.
until
We haven't.
Right now.
So now's our first chance. Kevin Durant. That's basketball. Let's do this. He was in Brooklyn. I don't know if you guys heard. He did get the video that he asked not to get, and then he dropped 33 in his first game back in Brooklyn since he was traded to Phoenix. Suns won that one, 136-120, but the Brooklyn fans responding to KD being introduced.
Standing 6'10" from the University of Texas, number 35, Kevin.
I don't think this is the right video.
It's a lot of love.
That's fine, right?
I mean, there's always going to be some booze, right? But for the most part, that was a pretty nice greeting.
I think that was nice.
Kevin Durant, he championed New York City culture.
Yes.
So I think a lot of his fans and a lot of his fan base in the New York area comes from him just submerging himself and how they live their lives and a way of life in New York City. You know, it wasn't a great run for him career-wise, but culturally, he did a lot of great things in New York, so I think that ovation was respected and expected.
And I love that they gave the video.
Of
The
course
fact
they
that he said, don't do it, you know I'm down for the pettiness, and I
They had
love
to.
that they did that. And also, it's a sign of respect. There's players that are a lot less a player than Kevin Durant that get the video when they go back, so I'm glad that they actually did.
They were kind of in a weird situation, because you're right. There are players now, I think everyone gets a video when they return to wherever
Everybody.
it is. So to not do one for Kevin Durant
It would have been weird.
would have been really, really weird. You see him as sort of the culture guy, like New York culture. What did you view him as in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought that whole Tinder there was anticlimactic, right?
Yeah.
It was quick. It feels wasted. They had these guys, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, basically in their prime, and it never panned out. It never reached its full expectations with everything with the Kyrie situation, all the drama around it, everything. It never peaked, and that's
Yeah.
a shame because those three guys in their prime would have been really, really fun to watch. You see last night, the Suns' big three, they've already played more games than that big three in Brooklyn played. So
That hurts.
I think having those three, hoopers in that city, in that arena, I thought it would have been special. So, it's a bummer that it didn't happen. But yeah, Kevin Durant was the only bright spot of those
And
three.
he was a half an inch away from
Right. They
doing
still
something
almost
really,
won, yeah.
we were waiting for him because we had advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, and he was this close from that being us playing Brooklyn instead of Milwaukee and going 7 games. And so it's a game of inches.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I was stoked for what that chapter could have been. Shams, the Ben Simmons game streak did not last very long. Missed last night. What is the latest?
So he misses 2.5 months. He comes back Monday. I think he had a good game statistically, 10 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds in 20 minutes. And then after the game, he has swelling in his knee. He got hit during the game. Jock Vaughn said he reported soreness, reported that swelling. He got an MRI. I'm told no structural damage, but I mean, there's no idea yet on whether he's going to play. Their next game is in Philadelphia, so that would be a return game for Ben Simmons. It's unclear if he's going to play in that game, but he just got back in the lineup, plays 1 game.
Sorry, Shams.
I don't
We
know if
just all
Chandler
said
has
no
thoughts on
chance.
Just breaking
No
it.
chance.
No, he's out in the Philly game. I got word that's not.
We're getting word right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shams. We didn't mean
Sorry,
to cut
continue.
you off. It's
No, I mean, we're leading right into that, and it's for the Nets. Ben Simmons, his availability, that's obviously been a question, and he comes back from a serious. I mean, it's a back issue. Anytime you have a back issue, you have to rehab your back. He had back surgery in the office. He's had multiple back surgeries now. So getting back in the lineup, you think he's back for good, and now he's out. Last night he has swelling in that knee, and we'll see just how long he'll be out.
Good Lord. When you tweeted that out, I was like, this is not real life. Look, we got the trade deadline a week away. Any news on what the Nets are planning or trying to do?
They have a few players, Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, Royce O'Neal that will get interest around the league. I think they're going to get offers leading up to the deadline next Thursday. The Lakers are one of the teams that has interest in all three. And if you're the Lakers, if you can bring in 3 role players, it's similar to what you did last year when you reshuffled the decks. You brought in a bunch of role players to surround Anthony Davis, LeBron James. We'll see if they go that route. Do they go the DeJounte Murray route in LA? But the Nets will have interest in all 3 around the league leading up to the deadline next Thursday.
By the way, we're about to get to the Damian Lillard, but I wanted to ask this. When you think Kevin Durant, what team is he on?
I think OKC. I
Okay.
think that's where he was there the longest. That's where he started. Obviously,
Feels like forever ago.
Seattle, then going there. That's where he made that run. Also had a crazy big 3 there. You can argue Golden State because he was the best player and they won championships, and I feel like they were on national TV
Also feels
every
weird.
single night.
Yeah.
But to me, it's Thunder. I feel like that's where his jersey is going to get retired. That's where he should.
I agree with Chandler. I'm old enough that I played in Seattle
I missed
against
it.
Kevin Durant.
I've
awesome.
never been to Seattle.
Nice
was
places.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much like outside right now.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah.
rains,
Yeah,
but
seems beautiful.
very nice. But
That's fun.
yeah, I agree with Chandler. I liken him as a Oklahoma City Thunder. That's where he put the foundation of his career down. Golden State is where he got his rings, but it's going to be OKC for
what it
me.
feels
when all
like.
said and done.
I asked that because for most of us, Damian Lillard will probably be a Trailblazer forever, and last night was his big return to Portland. He had 25 points, 7 assists, but the Bucks lose this one, 119-116, which is kind of a big deal to the Blazers. That's their 3rd loss in their last 4 games, but the Portland fans showed up. Here they are as Dame's being introduced.
Guard 6'3" from Weber State, wearing the letter O, Damian Lillard.
Much deserved.
I actually have goosebumps. Look at me with feelings. That was nice. Like, that was a minute long, by the way. That
It's
was
colder in here too.
Ah,
So you
maybe
gotta
that's
factor
it.
that.
You're right. But I mean, look, I assumed there would be cheers, but that was a long ovation.
This makes sense. You got to have respect for this guy. He's arguably the greatest, not even arguably, he's the greatest Portland Trailblazer of all time. The time he spent there, everything he's done in that community, the big shots he's made, that he put on for this city. And like you said, he will always be a Portland Trailblazer. And I can see him at some point going back there and retiring there and, having his jersey up in the rafters one day. But it also makes it easy when his first game back and the trade, when he got traded, his team is going now through a rebuilding process, right? Like now Kevin
sure.
Durant going back to Brooklyn, it's in the different conferences, it's a bad team. When I left Houston, went to Dallas, I remember I had to compete with those guys. It was a hard game. It was like an intense game. They ended up losing this game, but it was a big difference of that first game back, knowing you're basically playing against a tanking team and the future of that franchise is kind of rebuilding since you left. So I think that helps with his departure. That it's not like he's got to battle against this team in the postseason coming up, you know what I mean?
Well, but doesn't that make the loss even that much more
For the
glaring?
fans, for sure. But this ovation, this was respect to their crowd because this is how do you boo this guy that did nothing wrong?
Did they boo at all? I don't even know. Did they boo after it all? Like when he got the boo?
I
Sometimes
mean, I'm
that's the
sure there
thing.
were some-
So never a boo. Wow, Portland, you're so nice.
Class.
By the way, you kind of touched on it, but he was asked about Portland. He did not rule out the idea of perhaps a return at some point. Could you see that?
Yeah, spent his first 11 years there. Very decorated decorated career there, and he'd probably go to Milwaukee, try to get a ring or 2, and end his career back at home where he started his career. So I don't really see it as likely, but it wouldn't surprise me if it happened.
Like maybe at the very end, just to have it done. Okay, so here's the deal. That trade, though, we're still trying to figure it out. The coaching changes. A lot's happened to Milwaukee in a short period of time. Do we still think that the trade was good for both sides?
I think the jury's still out for me.
Yeah.
I don't think Milwaukee has put themselves in a position where we really this is really making sense. And obviously, Portland is they're going to go through growing pains with those young guys, and they're starting to see some bright spots. I think Anthony Simons is going to be the best player on that team for a very long time. And he took this personal last night. As much as Dame was celebrated, he was Dame's young fella, and he wanted to show, that they did the right thing and putting the keys in his hands as well, and very spirited game, and he went out and got a big win. And so, both of these teams are having some bright spots, but I think the jury is still out on both sides.
Yeah, this meant something to those young guys there. The Scoot Henderson looked great last night. DeAndre Ayton was screaming, "This is what we do at the end of the game."
This is what we do.
Because they don't do it often, but they wanted this win, right? And it's crazy because you're talking about who won this trade, Portland or Milwaukee. I think Boston won the trade. They somehow come out of it with Drew Holiday. I think that's the most valuable piece of this entire trade. So, like Lou said, the jury's still out on how this is going to pan out with Milwaukee. They already have a coaching change in 33 games in. So, but they have so much talent where they can compete for sure.
Shams, on that Blazers side, we're talking about all the young guys. That was obviously a feel-good win for them last night, but any deadline plans we can look forward to?
Two players everyone has their eye on in Portland. Malcolm Brogdon, Jeremy Grant, veteran players. I think when you look at this Portland team, obviously young with Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, DeAndre Ayton, that's obviously the three guys, along with Scoot Henderson, that they're building around as far as their young core. But those two guys have had a lot of interest. I think Portland has set a high price threshold on both of them. They haven't exactly been eager to part with either. I think Joe Cronin, that front office at Portland, they believe they have a chance to be competitive on a nightly basis, for the rest of the season if those two guys remain on the roster. You see last night, Anthony Simons, DeAndre Ayton, Jeremy Grant, Malcolm Brogdon, they're getting performances from everywhere. This is a team that has multiple players coming off the bench that can produce at a high level. I'm curious from Chandler, your guys' perspective. If you're Portland, how do you handle having those two veteran players that are kind of on their own island? Do you feel like there's a team out there that they can help?
I think there's definitely a team that they can help. There's a contender right now that could definitely use a Jeremy Grant, that could definitely use a Malcolm Brogdon. I can't help but picture Malcolm Brogdon on the Suns and setting up and running that offense. That would be a perfect fit to me. And the Trailblazers aren't right now in a win-now situation, so I do think they can continue to move guys around, stack up assets, and build with the future. Build with Anthony Simons, build with Scoot Henderson. Shaedon Sharpe is so young still, too, and he's an absolute stud. So I think all those vet guys, it makes sense to have those guys on the roster now and create a culture and have some leadership there. But for the future, I would consider shipping out all.
So let me ask you this: Do you trade away valuable vets and then you start this process over? Look, they just seen this movie. Dame Lillard, 11 years there, didn't pan out the way that they wanted. Had some really good years. So now you have really good guards that you're starting with: Anthony Simons, Scoot, Shaedon Sharpe as well. Do you get rid of assets and you start this entire process over with these guys? You don't give them assets that they need to win.
I think it depends on what you can get back for. I think Jeremy Grant obviously brings more than Malcolm Brogdon does on the trade market. And if you can add another piece that can help and be that foundation moving forward, but you're right. Eventually, once they do have their core, they're going to need these Malcolm Brogdons. They're going to need these other vets that are going to help complete that roster and actually let them compete in games. So,
is there a formula for how many vets per young person you need? How does this work?
There's no formula, but at least a couple.
I mean, look at OKC right now. Bertans is like the oldest guy on their team, I think. Lou Dort, I thought he was old. He's like 25 years old, so they don't really have a...
And you know what's rare about OKC, though? It seems from a distance, on the outside looking in, they're very young and mature kids.
Yeah, SGA doesn't feel young.
He's very mature for his age. Like I said, I always give him high praise about the way that he carried himself when we were teammates. And so it just looks like they have it figured out over there. They don't really need a lot of vets, but they're in the minority. A lot of these teams have a lot of young guys that can do some bonehead things from here and there. And so I think, all teams need veterans, but they're all getting phased out.
They're an anomaly. They're the youngest team,
it's crazy.
The best team, and have no vets. And somehow they're still just piling on wins.
I feel like Ayton needs his own vet, just to not say things this
He's
is
got
what
his
we
own
do.
coach, I feel like, or someone on staff is just monitoring that guy.
Just for him. Well, speaking of the Thunder, they had a nice win last night. Granted, Denver didn't have Jokic. He had the lower back pain, but they did beat them. And they're now back in second in the West. SGA with 34, 12 of 13 from the free throw line. Chet had 18, 13 rebounds, 5 blocks.
Rookie of the year.
And let me ask you this. Look, the win's a win. It's a W. It doesn't, whatever. But if, as a team, are you just sort of like, it doesn't have the same oomph because Jokic wasn't in it?
Look, their all everything wasn't in. But on the other side, Jalen Williams wasn't playing either for the Thunder. And obviously that doesn't carry the same weight that Jokic does. But he is their fourth quarter guy outside of SGA. He's 14th or 13th in the league in scoring. He's their guy in the closing time. So I think he's very important to that team. So this is still a big win against a vet experienced team that they're going to eventually have to go through. So does it mean as much without Jokic? No, but this is still a valuable win, and they want the #1 seed. This is a hungry young team that again, when you look at the landscape of the NBA and these older teams, load management doesn't exist for these guys. They're so young, they're full of energy, they're not resting players. Their oldest rotation player is 25 years old. It's a joke what they're doing. So, yeah, this is a huge, anytime you just beat the defending champs. It's a big win for a young team.
I mean, would you, over halfway through the season, Oklahoma City sitting at 2,
And Minnesota
would have lost
1?
this bet 1,000 times,
That-
right?
Yes.
Like not just one, but both. Yeah, Chet, clutch 3, 13 rebounds, 5 blocks. Lou, what's the most impressive part of what he does?
For me, it's what he brings on the defensive end. For him to be a young guy trying to establish himself, excuse me, for him to be a young guy trying to establish himself, he's put emphasis on being a teammate that you can rely on the defensive end. 5 blocks last night, 13 rebounds. So for him to be and so young, I just think on the defensive end, obviously everybody knows what he can do on offense, but just defensively having that presence. And playing Wemby the other night, he took that challenge. They guarded each other. I respected that, but defensively, this is what I love about him.
It is crazy too, because he's obviously frail. He's thin. You see some moments where like a Rudy Gobert will kind of muscle him and dunk on him, but for the most part, for his body type, he holds his own, and he's wiry strong, and he's so long, and he alters shots. Even the shots doesn't block, he's meeting people at the rim, so he's super impressive. And I joke around with you a lot about the Rookie of the Year and stuff, but to put up this, to be the second or third most valuable player on arguably the best team in the NBA as a rookie.
And with a shot to be an all-star reserve.
It's super impressive what he's doing.
I know, and he's only had 2 years to figure it all out. It's awesome. I just want to keep reminding everyone. Shams, yep, we talked about Jokic. That was only his second missed game of the season, but it is with that lower back pain. Is there anything to worry about there?
I'm not sensing any concern. Nikola Jokic hasn't missed a ton of time this season. He obviously is gearing up for the playoffs. They want to make sure he's cleared, ready to go when it matters most. He's not in danger anytime soon of being ineligible for the MVP. So I think they're just monitoring it. Anytime he reports lower back pain, they want to be careful with it. I don't think this is long.
He better reach that threshold. Imagine if he missed like 2 weeks in a row, and then so Joel's out, he's out now, it just falls in like SGA's lap or Luke. You know what I mean? Like it's going
to be a weird conversation as we get
crazy.
closer. Yeah, it's kind of funny that the first season out with that rule, it's right off the bat we're going to lose Joel Embiid probably.
It's like a race to 65 games for those guys.
Yeah, it really is. Look, Denver's lost 3 of the 4 times that they've played against OKC, and I know they're the defending champs and it's regular season and all that good stuff. But do you make note of that as a team, that there's something about this team they get us?
Like I said, it's tricky because if you have too much success against a team, it kind of puts you in this space of, well, we got to change something if we have to run into them in a postseason because, they've gotten used to what we're able to do and be successful at it. And so I think OKC, they take this is a measuring stick for them. They say, okay, we can compete with this team, but I don't put too much stock into it because obviously if postseason comes, you're going to make adjustments. They're going to take away some of the things that you do well on both ends of the floor and make you play a different style of game. And so you take confidence in just knowing we can beat this team, but you don't put too much into it.
Yeah, and if I'm the Nuggets, I don't care how many times they beat me in the regular season. They have to beat me when it matters in the postseason. If I'm the Bucks, I don't care that the Pacers have my number. They still got to beat me 4 times when it matters. You know what I mean? So yes, it feels good to be the Thunder and the Pacers to know you can, and it gives you the confidence going into this matchup in the postseason. But if you're the Nuggets, you just you learn from it. You have now film of this. You make adjustments and you go get them in the playoffs.
By the way, it's February 1st. I'm not buying the Bucks. I just want to put that out there now. February 1st, we'll run this tape back, but it just feels not right.
Yeah.
Not related to anything.
I don't disagree.
Just a weird non sequitur. We're taking a quick break. When Run It Back returns, we will be joined by Mario Chalmers. We'll back.
Run it up, run it back, 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 run it up, run it back.
All right, played 8 seasons with the Heat, 2 titles. 2 seasons with the Grizzlies, 2009 NBA All-Rookie team. Mario Chalmers joins us now. And Mario, first of all, thanks. I know it's morning and it's early, but I got Chandler sitting next to me. And you had the misfortune or fortune of playing on a team with him. How was that?
Chandler, my guy. I can't say nothing bad about Chandler. He looked out for me, and we looked out for each other. We was 2 hurt guys on the Memphis Grizzlies trying to get back right. So that's all we had to do was hang out with each other. So
you still playing some cards? You got to get to LA. We can play some Boo-Ray, some Tonk.
Raise some tongue. We still play cards all the time. That's all we do.
I got the guys at the country. I started playing golf, and everyone now is on spades. And obsessed, bro. We play every day.
Hey, well, no, what we really got to do is get on that golf course. I've been golfing. I've been practicing, taking lessons. So, yeah, I'm
When
trying
you're
to
in
get out.
LA, let me know. I got you.
We now have seen Chandler play on and he's not as good as we thought, so this could be a good matchup.
Rio, they
I
just
heard he's
think
not bad, though. I heard
they
he's not
think
bad.
it's easy just to go and play in a pro golf tournament.
Easier
as
than
a li-
39.
And I finished 39th out of 48 in the tournament, and they've been shitting on me all week.
And forever we
Hey,
shall.
you didn't finish last, Chandler. You okay?
You're
You
right.
didn't
I
finish.
beat 11. What is that? I beat 8, 9 people. You
Good,
kidding
it's
me?
good math. Well, one didn't finish. All right, so you've played with some unique dudes. Zach Randolph, for my money, it comes to mind right away. Do you have any good Zebo stories that you could share?
I mean, it's kind of tough. I was there for such a short time from November to March, so most of my time with Memphis was just getting to learn the players and learning where they like to get the ball and just different things, trying to fit into the system. But, Zebo did take me under his wing. I know Zebo for a long time before I got to Memphis, so it's kind of like family to me. So it was just good to be there, be with some friendly faces in a town that hated me. So
Hated you. I'm Bin Laden in that town.
Oh, no. They don't hate you worse than me. I hit the shot versus Memphis Tigers, bro.
What?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
This
he
is
did.
Jayhawks,
He-
Memphis Tigers.
Oh, so yours goes back.
Yeah, yours is deeper than
Yeah.
mine. Mine's just an overpaid white guy that just didn't get along with everybody.
There's
Yeah,
also
that's all
that.
they don't like you for. I ended dreams and careers, so yeah, they hated me in Memphis. They still hate me to this day in Memphis.
Dang,
so.
Memphis does not play. All right, fair enough.
Mario, you're obviously known very well for your time in Miami, 2 championships. You were kind of the young guy on that team, though, little brother on that team. What do you remember most? What was it like being the one young guy on a team full of vets on multiple championships?
Just trying to figure out where you fit in, with everybody off the court mostly. On the court, everything's just simple things, but off the court, trying to hang out with guys and, be that friend. But, they all married or with their wives and children, so people didn't hang out like that. So being the little brother, I just had to be in different things, find different things to do. And, when they did hang out, I was with them. But, like UD said on his podcast, he introduced me to Miami in a different way. So I had a lot of fun in Miami. I was able to move different and had a lot of friends in Miami that looked out for me, took care of me.
Yeah, Rio, you guys obviously had a hell of a run there. You guys won, did your thing. Did you have a favorite moment on or off the court, just playing with those guys, learning from those guys?
Some of the favorite moments came from off the court, just learning like their mentalities. Like I used to ask a lot of questions about business and different things they try to get into, and just seeing the different aspects from what D Wade want to do, what Brown wants to do, what CB wants to do. It was just good learning those different things and learning the true person behind the basketball. So that was the most fun I had, and of course my favorite moments anytime I got to shine a little bit with the big three, like 10 threes for Sacramento or 25 points for OKC in the finals. So moments like that I always cherish, and just being around those great guys and those great teams, I always cherish those moments.
Mario, like you mentioned, the big 3 there, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. How would you say your relationships were with all 3 of them separately and uniquely?
Me and D Wade, I definitely think we was probably the closest, just because I was, he was there when I got there in 2008. Man, he kind of really took me under his wing, and that was one of my favorite players coming into the league. So definitely me and D Wade was close. Me and Brown was close. Anybody always see me and Brown together. We worked out together, hung out together. Like that was a real friend. So, me and Brown was real close. And then me and CB was close too. CB's a quiet dude. Likes to drink his beer, make his beer, listen to Spanish channels. So CB's a different character, but me and CB really got along great just because the way we played on the basketball court. I knew he always had his back. I knew I'd be able to find him if I'm in a tight spot, and he's gonna go to work. So me and CB's relationship was definitely good.
Making beer is so crazy to me. All right, so LeBron yelled at you. You yelled back. Did it ever get past that? I mean, that's what friends do. Did it ever get worse?
No, I never got worse. Actually got better after that. We talked about it. Organization made us talk about it and just make sure everything was smooth over. So it didn't go past
Wait,
that
hold on.
moment.
The organization made you talk
They made
about
you
it?
squash it?
How's that work?
They just made sure that I wasn't gonna say nothing crazy in the media. Like it wasn't gonna go past that, because I didn't take it that serious at that time. But yeah, I was mad. So it is what it is.
Rio, you mentioned how close you and D Wade were. What's one thing that you took from playing with him, not just as a friend off the court, but how was it like playing with a Hall of Fame guy like him?
Just what he had to do to get ready for the court. Everybody knows about D-Wade's injuries, but when you actually see there and see him getting to the game 3 and 4 hours before, getting stretched, getting ice on the knees, heat on the knees, getting shots up, just the preparation that those guys take to get ready for the game. It amazes me. Sometimes they'll do all that preparation and still come out slow, and then sometimes they'll do all the preparation and come out on fire. So it's just good to see the consistency that they kept with the preparation and the way they played.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned earlier about, things that you might have said or would have said in the media, but you have made a few comments, we have to ask about this, about LeBron that maybe raised a couple eyebrows, saying that players didn't fear him and that he wasn't your GOAT. You've clarified those, but if we know anything, LeBron hears all and will hold a grudge. Have you heard from him? Are you guys cool?
I haven't heard from him. I haven't reached out to him either, so I don't know. It's just one of the moments, I guess, when we see each other, we'll say hi. We'll see what happens. Like, I don't have no beef towards him. So, like you said, he holds grudges. So I don't know if he has a grudge to me or not. But
you're on the list now. You are on the list now, Mario.
Speaking of holding grudges,
here we go.
He recently tweets an emoji of the hourglass on Tuesday night after the Lakers loss. It's just a passive-aggressive guy, or what do you take from this? Because he seems to be writing these subliminal messages all the time. But we know what he's trying to say. Why doesn't he just come out and say what he's thinking?
That's what I want to know. Like, just come out and say what you want to say, because you get to do what you want to do behind closed doors. So it's one of those things. He's got people on edge. He wants to see, like, it's a waiting game. Like, what's about to happen with the Lakers? What's about to happen with Bron? And he likes that. He likes to keep it a mystery.
Sure does.
Sorry, Shams, go ahead.
Oh. Got lost in my text. Mario, obviously, D-Wade, he's getting a statue in Miami. They just announced that. Is there anyone else? You're obviously a Miami Heat legend. Is there anyone else you think that deserves a statue outside that arena?
A statue? That's a tough one. Maybe Zoe, maybe Bron. I mean, just what they did for that organization. I know Alonzo Mourning's a big part of the Heat organization, a big part of the Heat community. So the way people view him, I would see one of them two being the only ones, with a statue. I like that outside of the Heat arena.
I could see that. D-Wade told a story about you losing $50K on the plane. First of all, I didn't think you were allowed to talk about plane stories. I thought that was not a thing. Is this true, playing cards? Was it to LeBron? Like, what happened here?
It wasn't $50K. It was $45. Chandler was playing
My
good.
bad.
You know about good.
Oh, yeah. Three-card poker?
It was a ghost head. Yeah, it was a ghost head. So I'm the first one in the ghost head, so we all go around. There's 7 of us. I have a pair of 8s, Chandler. A pair of 8s with 45,000 with everybody getting out.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody said they're out. So I'm like, okay, I'm staying there. I'm going to try to go. So I got a good hand. Ron flips over the 9.
Oh, no.
He flips over a jack, and then he flips over another 9. So pair of 9s beats 4 8s. I lost 45,000 to Rashard Lewis. He pulled up the next day in the all-black truck. Brand new.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
By the way, things get out of control. I've seen dudes from Houston to Dallas lose 20 grand in a 45-minute flight.
That's all. I mean,
I've seen somebody lose $1 million in Blu-ray. Like, the Blu-ray game is crazy.
$1 million?
Like,
$1 million?
$1 million. It's definitely a big point.
Oh my God,
Who
I'm
lost
like
$1 million?
excited about
Yeah,
this.
that's crazy.
I'm not saying nobody's business out there, but yeah.
Shams is gonna get on it.
I'd be sick.
Shams
Yeah,
is
Shams
on it.
will
Oh, yeah,
find
you'll find out
somehow.
soon. All you gotta do is do a little research. Somebody will tell you.
Rio, you and UD had a debate about the best shooters in Heat history, and you said you would outshoot all of them. Is there anybody that you've seen or you've played with that you don't think you'd beat in a shooting contest?
I know what you want to say, Chandler. You know you want me to put the 6'10" white guy with the ratchet in
6'10"
there.
with him. Come on, give me my flowers.
16 ratchet. Just my confidence, man. You got to show me. You just got to go to the gym. Like, I won't have no problem admitting that you beat me, but I'm not about to sit here and say you'll beat me. You'll beat me. So it's a good competition, It's all out of love for me. I love those guys, and I'd rather shoot against anybody just for fun.
Jeez, look at
Makes
you.
sense.
So they retire Haslam's jersey, and people had thoughts all over the board. Does he deserve to have his jersey retired?
In my opinion, I think so. Just from being in the Heat 20 years, one team, being the Heat's all-time leading rebounder, and you got 3 championships. Like, you do a lot for the community. Like, you're a good role model for the Heat, good role model for the community, and you're homegrown. So with your resume and what you've done, I definitely take my hat off to you, and I definitely deserve you. You think you deserve to be up there in the Raptors for sure.
Mario, your first year in the NBA was Spo's first year in the NBA, and just now he's considered one of the best coaches in the league. Did you see that early on? I know it was obviously shaky a little bit early on, but what did you see?
The biggest thing about Spo in the beginning, he wasn't really a people person. Like, he didn't understand how to talk to his players personally and develop that relationship. So as far as the X and O's part, Spo's came from the video room. So, he's seen it all. He knows how to dissect anything. He's great with that. So I knew from that aspect he would be a good coach. It was just the player to coach relationship that I was worried about. And, once he figured that out and got over his little phobia of talking to the players and understanding that we're all just human, we all just want the same thing, he turned into the coach he is. And I take my hat off to him. Like, Spo's one of my favorite coaches. So I got a lot of respect for Coach.
Mario, we hear all these legendary stories about Pat Riley, and I had never had an experience with him, but I'm scared of him with this slick back and his tan skin. He's got this aura that puts fear in people, right? What was your experience with him, and did you had that same feeling?
So I've seen two different sides of Pat. Everybody knows my story coming in with the rookie transition, how I got in trouble there. So I seen the bad Pat early. The Pat that was on me, didn't like me, wanted me to do all the right things, but I couldn't. So I seen that Pat that was always on me, wanted the best for me. And then I seen the side of Pat after we won the championship, and the respect he had for me, the love he had for me. Take me under his wing, give me big hugs, and just trying to make sure I stayed on the right path. And that was a good thing about my relationship with Pat. Like, he was always trying to help me.
Everyone talks about Heat culture. That's a thing. They put it on the court now. They have it on the jersey now. Obviously, it kind of took off with you guys when you were there in Miami, Mario. But what does Heat culture mean to you?
Heat culture to me is basically being able to sacrifice yourself for the man next to you. Being able to get out of yourself and help the team or help the player that's next to you. Sacrificing and laying it all on the line. That's the definition of Heat culture to me. That's what I was taught and brought up into. So that's my definition of it.
Mario, you have to go into a game today. How many points are you scoring? Why are you laughing?
Yeah, I get an easy 20.
Damn. Okay. Hold
just
on.
because they shoot a lot of threes, and all I do now is just stay behind the three-pointer shooting threes. So I'm going to attempt 11 threes. I'm going to hit at least.
It's true. You're playing 20 minutes. You're taking 10 threes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so that's the reason I say that. It's not like I'm going to go out there and kill and just be like how I was in the paint and all that. No, I'm shooting nothing but threes.
All right.
And I'm trying to get a quick 20.
Is there a player out there that you just sort of see and go, that's the guy I want to light up the most?
Light up the most?
Yeah, I mean, it could be like Dylan Brooks. I could throw that out in the atmosphere if you want help.
Hey, see, Chandler knows Dylan Brooks was my rook.
I love him.
But he wasn't like that when we had something happened to him.
It's a whole different Dylan Brooks. I don't know what happened to this one. I like him better this way, but
Me
yeah.
too. He's fun.
He's getting the clicks.
Quiet guy.
He's a character.
To answer that question, there's not anybody I really start out that I want to go after. I just want to be able to compete and play against the best.
Is there anyone out there that is maybe getting a little too much hype that you think's a bit overrated?
No, not that I think of. Nah.
Especially point guards now. Point guards are so
Right,
good.
everybody's
There's so many
doing their
good
thing
point
right
guards.
now.
Yeah.
My favorite point guard is Tyrese Halliburton. He's doing an amazing job at Indiana running the team. He's special to me.
It's crazy because we were going over point guards yesterday, and I named like 15 point guards, and then I named Kyrie Irving. I'm like that's how deep that position is.
That's the crazy part. Like, Kyrie used to be top 1, 2. Now it's just so many different guards. It's kind of like, man.
It's called getting old, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party.
All the time is undefeated.
It's exactly. Can't stop it. Mario, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Rio.
We'll take a quick break.
All right, Chef.
When we come back, that man has a family. Soon.
Run it back, yeah. Run it up, the run it back, yeah, yeah. Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.
We got some Kings Heat. We want to get through these highlights. They snapped it. The Heat snapped that 7-game losing streak. Woohoo! Jimmy Butler, 31-7-6. Josh Richardson, hey, 24 points off the bench. Gotta love it. Heat had 40 assists on 42 baskets. They're now 7th in the East. We know they finished 8th last season and made it to the finals. They're one of those teams where we're like, regular season doesn't matter. Does that still work this year?
I think it matters to a point, right? When they're not going to want to be an 8-7 seed and have to play at the Boston Celtics in the first round. As good as they are in the postseason, as tough as they are, this Heat culture, like that I get it, but like it's still, you want to get the highest possible position. You would rather play the Knicks, the Cavs, someone like that, other than the Sixers or the Celtics. You know what I mean? So I think they are built for the postseason. They're a versatile team. I think Terry Rozier, I think he's going to get his feet wet and he's going to become a critical part of this offense. Jimmy Butler had a big game last night with 31-7. So I think once this team clicks, they do have a little bit of everything. They have really good perimeter shooting. They have a deep bench. So I do like their team. But yeah, you can't just bank on them hitting the switch and turning it on come postseason every single season.
I wonder if there's a psychological advantage to sort of doing that, though, where you kind of are like, in the regular season, you turn it on. And I ask that, Lou, because do top teams see a team like Miami as a disruptor?
Absolutely, especially when you got guys that are all-star caliber still. Even though they have some chemistry issues, but once they work Terry Rozier in there, they're going to become a scary defensive-minded team. With Josh Richardson coming off the bench, Terry Rozier, you have Jimmy Butler, you have Bam Adebayo, you have all of these guys that are known for how hard they play and the defensive-minded aspect of it that they bring, and Miami just being a good team overall. So, like you said, that psychological part of it where they kind of lurk around 6-7 all year, and then they end up being a tough out for somebody in the first round. And so I wouldn't want to run into this team in the postseason, but at some point they're just going to have to start playing better basketball.
Like, let's look at it right now. Boston Celtics, the #1 seed. They're probably going to finish #1. They're 5 games ahead of Milwaukee.
Right.
Atlanta, Chicago, Orlando are the 8, 9, and 10. Wouldn't you rather play any of those teams than Miami Heat in the first round? Miami Heat is the only team that can beat them 4 times in a postseason series. So if you're one of these top seeds, you have this great, fantastic year, and then you got to hit this team in the first round. It's tough. It's worse for the high seed, or it's worse for the lower seed, like in Boston, that has to face these guys.
Right.
Because I think Miami thinks they're comfortable, they're confident they can beat it.
Yeah, they don't care where they finish, it seems. It's almost like an advantage to them.
But also, if you're them and you can get up there and you can get a Cavs, you can get an Indy first round, then all of a sudden now you're talking about advancing. And
looking at the standings, though, I really can see this team landing around 5 or 6.
That's what I mean.
Oh, wow.
Cleveland, Miami, first round, I'm probably taking Miami.
For somebody that first round.
I don't know.
Cleveland that first round.
It's interesting, though. Well, let's just wait. 5 games Terry Rozier has been a Heat member so far. He's averaging just under 12 points, 5.5 assists. We looking at this as this ultimately will be a great fit?
I do. I think it'll be a great fit. I think he's taking some tough long-range twos right now. He's not getting the free throw line as much. He's just not being efficient. But I think when you space the floor with the Tyler Heroes, the Duncan Robinson, you have Bam rolling. He's a great ISO player. He's great in transition. He can kind of play that 1-2-3 position where I do think he's going to fit the more comfortable he gets. And when you get this team fully loaded, healthy, he's going to be extremely valuable.
And like I said, he's giving them a guard that can go out and guard premier guards on the perimeter and give them that look, and at the same time make tough shots, even though, like Chandler said, he's taking some contested twos, but that's how he's always played. Once he gets accustomed to how this team plays, I think it's going to be a seamless fit for him, and good things are going to happen.
Shams, what has Miami been doing to just get back on track?
Anytime you have a long losing streak, you have to do something. They had a team meeting on Tuesday where I'm told Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, their 2 leaders, they both spoke up. Anytime Jimmy Butler speaks, and I'm told he was powerful in that meeting, and his actions backed it up last night. The performance he had, and he had the ball in his hands a lot more. He led the team in usage rating last night, percentage, and when he has the ball in his hands and the game goes through him, you see a different Heat team. We see it in the playoffs, and I don't know if it's preserving Jimmy Butler for the playoffs when he shines the most in the second half of the season. But right now, a lot of it over the last couple of weeks has been Terry Rozier, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. Those are all players that are going to play significant roles on this team. But when the ball's in his hands and the game is going through him, we see how effective and how dangerous this Heat team is.
Meetings. I love meetings.
Good old-fashioned team meeting.
I love that. Shams, love you. We will see you bright and early Monday morning. Have a great weekend. Try to have a little fun, just a little bit, please. For the love
Sean's
of God.
probably a party.
Trade deadline's a week away, Michelle.
I know, but just like
Really
just an
get
hour
Hey,
of
hey,
me
Sean,
time.
listen, next week in Vegas, we're going to get to know you,
Yeah, I'm
brother.
gonna really get to know you
That's-
Friday
We're
night.
going to get to know
right.
you next week in Vegas.
I'm sorry, Shams.
If you're not,
Good deal.
if you're not puking Saturday morning, I did a
get it.
shitty job.
Great. And there's the threat. All right, Shams, we'll talk to you soon. We got That Man Has a Family. Okay, I looked ahead. These are, okay, Scary Terry.
Let's see it.
There you go. Oh, this is nasty.
That's fun.
Spin cycle. Yes, sir.
See,
That's
this
fun.
is not, but this is a tough
is
shot.
what they
This
need.
is why he's, this,
Right,
you know what I
I see
mean?
what
This is
you're
why
saying.
he has these 2 for 13 games because he's taking shots licks. But boy, when he,
But man, it does
when
look
it
nice.
works-
Underhanded compliment.
yeah, when it works though, it looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks like it's choreographed. It's perfect. DeAndre Jordan.
Still got it.
Love
yeah.
this.
Whoa.
Ow.
Yeah, big fella.
By the way, he's been great.
One
I
of
love
my
this for him.
favorite teammates
Oh,
of
one of the
all
greatest guys.
time. Love Dre.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone say a bad
Besides
thing
the
about
fact that he lied to, besides the fact that he lied to me and reneged on Dallas and ruined my career there, he's a great guy.
Because, listen.
He wanted to stay with you.
He's non-controversial, man. He didn't want any problems.
This is awkward.
Just going back.
He's been great. When
I love-
his spot minutes he's had this year, he's been extremely valuable.
Yep, fan. Shingoon. How's that feel?
Oh, Bron.
Okay, Bron.
Okay.
Get
Bron.
caught up. This is definitely a poster.
Yes.
This is going up in the house.
And the
Big
poster's
time.
gonna
Big
look way
frame.
cooler than the actual
This
video.
This might go in the living room.
By the way, I don't think I have him on an All-Star reserve, but maybe.
You know what sucks is because I remember I went to that Knicks game when they were here, and he had such a meh game that I have to get it back. I have to get the Shingoon
He's
back.
playing so good, he's starting
I
to
know.
dress ridiculous.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
never
He's
good.
turning into one of those.
Is he
Yeah,
about to
he's- yeah.
bitter brick us? All right.
Tyrese Halliburton dunk. That's
On
not
Derek White.
Okay.
That's
see.
not-
Let me see.
This is okay.
I don't think he touched the rim.
It's a really good layup.
Really? You don't?
Nah, look. Oh, it's a little rim.
Kind of like here.
Could have been an AM one.
I don't know. We hadn't seen a white guy get dunked on yet. This is a good
I
day.
mean, we're making a concerted effort
Good
to
day.
change it up, Lou. We're trying to do this. DeMar DeRozan,
Yes, sir.
Bruce Brown.
That's what we like to see, Debo. Stay off that rim.
That's fun.
Does he stay in Chicago? Or is he
I
getting
hope not.
Yeah.
God, no one's
Free
gonna be in
him.
Chicago.
Free DeMar.
I hope not. Get my boy out of there.
That's a bummer, man. I wish the Bulls were better. Porzingis on Miles Turner.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Porzingis
Oh.
healthy. He's,
That's
you know what? Yeah.
If he's healthy.
If he's
Yeah.
healthy.
That's
It's a
the
big
point.
if, though, is
It's
the
a
only
big.
problem.
Is Porzingis like the original unicorn?
Yeah.
He
that's
was,
when they
yeah.
first
Like the
started calling
original
him,
7-foot
Does it-
guy doing
It
different
just doesn't
things.
feel the same though now, does it? Unicorn's taken on a whole new meaning. A gentleman by the name of Jordan Walsh coming to us from the G League.
Oh, Jordan
I'm
Walsh is
sorry.
nasty.
Oh,
Sir?
Gotta box out, kids. Box out.
and he got a tag for that?
Did no one see that coming?
By the way, this kid's
Guess
good.
not.
Come
Arkansas.
That's awesome.
on.
Yeah, no, like,
What is the kid doing back there at half court, not boxing him out?
why? It just it happened too
Staying in
fast.
the G League, right?
Staying in the G.
Get
Attention to details, young
Yeah,
player.
get cozy down
You
there.
talking
Look
about
at
this
what
guy
they're
over
doing.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Just
You gotta
chilling?
box out.
Yeah, well, you know, it happened too fast.
That's
okay?
coaching too. So one of those assistants supposed to tell him to box out.
That's awesome. That's a fun video.
Mm.
All right, so the NBA is going to be announcing the All-Star reserves later today. So that should be exciting. But we want to get
big.
your picks. Yeah, I know, it's kind of crazy. East starters that were already announced, we know that. So we can show that to you guys right now. 2 guards, 3 front court players, and 2 wild cards is what you get, Chandler.
Okay.
You go first on the reserves.
Okay, on my East reserves, I went Jalen Brunson
There he is.
and I went Donovan Mitchell. You could argue that both of these guys could have been a starter, honestly. It's so deep. Then I went Bam. I think the Heat are going to get a player. Julius Randle, if he comes back, he gets healthy.
Wow.
I think he's going to make another All-Star appearance. Jaylen Brown, again, I think you could literally argue that he should have been a starter. I think he's the, obviously the second best player on the best team in the NBA. He has an argument to be a starter too. Tyrese Maxey, the rise of him has been absolutely insane. He's got to get healthy too because he's missing some games. And then I threw in Scotty Barnes there as my last wild card. Look, they played 47 games. He's played 47 games. I know they're 17 and 30. They're currently in the 12th seed, but the kid is averaging 20 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. He can do it all. You can't deny his stats. And it comes to the thing where, like, again, are we rewarding guys on winning teams? I
I don't know, Rookie of the Year, you tell me.
I almost went with Porzingis here, or a Derek White, but I said, you know what? No, this kid's having a hell of a year. He deserves to be an All-Star with those numbers.
I don't know about that one, Lou. What do you got?
We got a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
only my wild cards are different, but same as Chandler. I got Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey is in there for me, Julius Randle, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, and in my wild cards I got Donovan Mitchell, and then I had Paolo Banchero.
I like that.
You switched it
Oh,
up.
you switched it.
I switched it, even though it says Derek White. Yesterday, I said Derek White. I think he's very much deserving, but I don't see the Celtics getting 4 guys. So I put Paolo in there.
Paolo's a good one.
So I put him
really
in there
good
to
one.
represent Orlando. They've been consistent this year. They've been able to survive a lot of turbulence and a lot of good basketball, and they're still playing well as a young team. So I threw him in there.
All right, if we got the East, the West, if you need a reminder on who the starters are out there, it's LeBron, Durant, Jokic, Doncic, and SGA. Chandler, your reserves for the West are.
Yeah, and now looking at this, I think this is the winning team here. I think the West wins the East looking ahead here. I got Steph Curry as my backup point guard, and Anthony Edwards. Again, both those guys are having tremendous years. You could argue that they could be starting. Same thing with Kawhi Leonard. I think if LeBron didn't get the nod, he's probably your starting small forward there. Anthony Davis, same thing. He's been dominant this year. He's been kind of keeping the Lakers afloat, and people like to kind of run him through the mud. And he's been absolutely fantastic. Rudy Gobert is probably going to get his another Defensive Player of the Year, and with the year Minnesota is having, they deserve to have 2 All-Stars, and that guy's going to be Rudy Gobert. Devin Booker, still one of the top players in the league. I don't think their record reflects that. I think they're going to continue to rise in the rankings, and we know how he's a perennial scorer, shooting guard. Then my last one, I went back and forth. I was going to go Chet, or I was going to go Sabonis, but the Kings are having such a solid year. He's having such big games, these 26 rebound games, double-doubles. I like Sabonis here getting the nod in the last wild card.
Okay. Lou?
I got Devin Booker, obviously, Anthony Edwards, obviously, and this is where it gets tricky. I have Kawhi Leonard and I have Paul George as all-star reserves. You can even make the case for James Harden right here for a couple of guys to represent the Clippers coming off the bench with the January that they've had. The last 6 weeks, they've been the best team in basketball. And after that, I like Karl Anthony Towns, being on the number 2 Timberwolves. I like both of those guys. And then my wild cards are going to be Jamal Murray and De'Aaron Fox. Even though Chandler likes Sabonis, I still feel like De'Aaron Fox is the guy that makes that team go, so he's going to get the nod.
No Steph Curry.
No Steph Curry for me. I just felt like Steph's having a good year, but other guys are playing better.
Okay, that's, you know what?
I think other guys are playing better. Other guys are getting an opportunity to show what they're made of, and they're taking advantage of it. We've talked about the body language and the things that's going on in Golden State so much this year. It's just an opportunity for these young guys to have an opportunity to shine, and so I just didn't see it this year.
And Steph will be doing the 3-point thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see him. That's going to be weird. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, a little prop party for you.
We've been pretty good at this.
I have not. Not at all.
You don't know we won the other
I don't
day.
even know.
Didn't even show it.
Running back, run it.
1 minute left for the prop party. Chandler, what do you got?
Okay, it gets a little tricky here because both AD and LeBron are questionable. I think they both play. And I think the Lakers lose by 10, for God's sakes. I think they cover plus 11. I think they didn't play last night. They're rested. Hopefully those 2 guys play. And if they do play, LeBron's got to have a big game for them to have a chance to cover, let alone win.
Wow. Okay, Lou.
Lakers got to be healthy to be successful, so I got a big night for the Boston Celtics. I got Celtics money line, and if nobody's there to guard Porzingis, big night, 19.5.
Christian Wood is in the lineup.
He's in trouble. LOL.
LOL.
I texted her.
I thought a lot about what I wanted to do here, and I did crunch some numbers. So I've got Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown. I've got over 13.5 for Holiday and Brown over 1.5 threes.
I actually like those.
Thank you. Next time you see us, we'll be in Las Vegas. Boom! Enjoy your weekend. See you Monday.
Oh boy.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up.